Hello, window swap. Why you gotta be so mean? Hello, and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Line, and this is Irvine, Texas. Oh man, nice, nice. I really need to get my camera to squeeze up all the way to the edges of this thing, but whatever, doesn't matter. Hi, hello, welcome. I was chatting with some of you in chat already. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. It's Monday, July 25th. It's been a fun day for me. By fun, I mean I've been doing a lot of brain hard, trying to memorize things, trying to prepare for fun times. Just it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great. Deflex is here, and 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 he just resubscribed. He's been gone for 14 months, a year and 2 months. I feel like somebody did a Control C, Control V with the house on the old background. Yeah, they all look. I'm all leaning the wrong way. Like the ones closest to us kind of look like townhouses or apartments or something, or maybe it's a campus. And that's why everything looks the same. I have no idea. No idea. Zoltralord is here. Moonyak is here. Dukasoft has been here. He was the first one to chat in here. Prog Testing is here trying to drop bombs. Oh man. My little automated realms bot is here. I will, I guess, show you a little bit of it. Let me just see if there's anything special that I need to hide. I don't think there is. I don't have the key. But I will definitely just talk through this really quick, but we're going to jump into the project because I want to write some seed data. I did not put the key anywhere in here, right? It's all in secrets. It's in secrets. Cool. Okay, so let's just take a quick glance at this. It's nothing special. As I mentioned before, I started with Fierce Kittens sample somewhere around here. Fierce Kitten Blazor Twitchbot example. So all I did was clone this. I picked it apart, read through stuff, tried to understand how the Twitchbot works. She's got this Twitchbot hub and then the actual Twitchbot itself. I found another project that also split things out into commands, which I thought was kind of cool, but it doesn't make sense for creating ad hoc commands. Maybe I will have just one kind of command model and then have a repository of commands that I could read in instead of having them as typed commands. Like they had a dad joke command or whatever other kind of stuff. Nobody noticed. Oh, Tara was like, it's just a lazy devs. Just use a tiled set of models. Tugasov said, nobody noticed. It was Irish John Games that's helped me place. It was just they pick the same house or apartments, click, 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 and they're done. And that's how it works. But anyway, so this thing is really straightforward. It's really easy. I found out how to get the key or a key generated. So what we see going on here is I can connect to multiple channels and I can decide whose channel to send a message from automated realms. Whoa. So I can send a chat from automated realms from this thing here. It's reading the chat and all of the comments. This is a timestamp that I'll just need to turn into an actual date time display type of thing if I want to use it at all. Yeah, Deflex says, lovely Monday. How soon is the interview? On Wednesday. Wednesday, and that's why I've been studying so hard this morning, breaking my brain, trying to remember all of the different sorting algorithm types, big O notation, all of the fun stuff. And no, this is not for the ones that you might know about. This is for a Google interview. But yeah, so anyway, no, I closed it. Why did I close it? Because I'm not using it. But anyway, that's a Twitch bot. That's something that I'm doing in the evenings when I have time. Wait. If only I worked on a Twitch bot. Oh wait, I do. Yeah, so I took that and I started applying some of my architecture too. And I'm making a Twitch bot that's going to run via an API or directly in a Maui app on my computer, on my phone, wherever I want to put it. But the point is that I really want this to be kind of isolated to my internal network only. I don't want to deploy this anywhere. But at the same time, I could do what Broken Sword did and push it out to an Azure function and have that Azure function do all of my Twitch related things from there. It really isn't that difficult to get to that point. But I broke up my project into all of the interfaces for being able to connect to Twitch, for being able to do all of the commands and all of that fun stuff. I'm really curious how you're going to connect a Maui and a console app. Super easy. Give them a HTTP client pointed at the address. Our bot is a desktop bot, no cloud or anything. Yeah, definitely. So I kind of picture this being, here's a user interface that says, I mean, I haven't tried it, so there are probably a lot of issues that I'll run into. But the point is that I will just have a user interface either on desktop, on mobile, whatever, that connects to my internal network that's running the API on a server somewhere, and everything is just saying, hey server, I want to get this from Twitch. I want to listen to messages, so send me your Signal R messages. Because what it really is my server is just a Signal R hub. The server is the thing that's getting all of the Twitch messages and communicating out to Twitch as well. Of course not. I don't mind at all, Tyron. So Tyron asked, mind if I link our bot website? I don't mind at all, but if you're trying to recommend it to me to use it, I won't be using it because I want to make my own. I want to learn it. But I also wouldn't mind learning from yours. Cool. But yeah, it's essentially just going to be not just a Twitch bot. So I'm calling this my Automated Realms bot. Mine will be open source eventually once I figure things out and make sure that I don't accidentally put keys in here that I don't need to. So mine is going to be whatever I just said. Can I show how to connect to Twitch without doxing myself? I sure can. Mine is going to, oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, Twitch chat is IIRC, but this is not just going to be for a Twitch client. This is also going to control my OBS in the internal network. I downloaded the WebSockets for OBS, so I'll be able to see all of my scenes. I'll be able to switch between them. It's going to have voice recognition, so it's going to be listening to me as I speak. It's going to be listening to chat, so it's going to respond to you guys while you type stuff. It's going to have the Descript, which is an app that takes my voice model. And you could type a text-to-speech thing in chat, and then it would use my voice or whatever voice. I'll like give you an option of the stock voices and then my voice, and then maybe some kind of modulator or some kind of filter that you can put any of those voices through. So you can apply voice filters, voice modulators, and pretty much do text-to-speech that way. What else? So yeah, there's a Descript interop that will allow me to do that. I just need to figure out if I have access as whatever type of customer of theirs I am. So that's going to be fun. And then the UI itself. So the app, which I closed on accident, the app can have a MAUI, which means it'll run natively on the device. Window, it can be a browser so that I can add it as a browser source into my OBS, and I can just make the background some color. So like if I connect to Twitch, which I'll show you, I won't forget, I promise, then it joins the channel, and I can add a browser source. And I'll call that browser source Taco, of course. Taco is what I'm going to call my browser source because it's really hard for me to think of names. And then I'll just use my URL for it, which will be a different one. I could control audio via this, which means that anything I can do in a Blazor window, in a Blazor web application, I could do using my browser source. We can build AI into the hit that can predict the future. Absolutely. So yeah, you can see this kind of overlay. We can give it a different background color if we wanted to. So properties, background. Let's give it like a semi-transparent background so that it's a little bit darker. Anyway, you can kind of see it. So this is just a browser source that I'm moving around the window, and whatever we can see inside of the browser source, we will be able to see. Oh, right, click connect. Whatever we see inside of the browser source, we'll be able to see happen on the window. So of course, if I make it take up the entire screen, then I have a place for all of my AR related things. So I'm gonna use my component library to use the camera, and then be able to do things like what Finite does. Oh my gosh, Finite is so cool. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's got some really cool effects that he does with his camera. Finite Singularity. Hopefully I spelled that right. I don't think I spelled it right. Oh, because I forgot to do shout out. That's really hard to type. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, this is in the way. Yeah, like this thing. He has this kind of looking through a shower glass or whatever kind of window those are called.
That was perfect timing on the music.
Happy really cool.
Saturday, everyone.
Anyway, so he's got some really cool things. This nice background that he has is his green screen that he switches out for an animated. Somebody walks in, says stuff. It's really cool stuff. So yeah, there are just so many cool things that we can do with this. Now that I have it in a Blazor application, which can be a MAUI application that I run on my desktop, there's just so many cool things. Oh, it's the human. Was hoping for the dog. Roscoe. Anyway, cool stuff. So Dukasoft said, can we see how, or asked, I guess, can we see how you are connecting to Twitch? Oh, right. And the other cool thing is when I get a chat, this is everything that I get with a chat message from the Twitch Lib. So the first thing that I do is I use Twitch Lib here. I'm using Twitch Lib from NuGet, which makes it super duper simple. And then the TwitchBot Hub, which is my Signal R hub that's running on the server. And again, this is a separate class library, so I could put it on whatever server I want. This same thing can be used in an actual app that's being hosted, just a server app that's being hosted somewhere, which I can eventually do, I guess, if I need to or want to. But and by the way, that's configured right here, which is map hub, TwitchBot hub at the URL that I have my TwitchBot running on. So that thing says when we are told to connect, there are two primary ways of connecting to Twitch chat. Who is it? Oh, that's funny. There are two primary ways of connecting to Twitch chat. The first one is a client, or I think there are three. Did I say two? I can't remember now, but if you read the docs, you'll see what they are. I think it's three. One of them is appropriate for a client-side only kind of thing where you're providing the name of your bot and then like a request token essentially, and the channel name, and that request token will give you. Anyway, it's in the docs. I didn't fully look into that because I'm not planning on doing a whole bunch of client-side authentication for this. At the moment, I want everything to be on the server and hidden behind my secrets. The other way is to use user secrets, where you create an auth thing when you from Twitch. And so you create some kind of OAuth token, and then you provide that to this connection. And then there was one other way, and I didn't fully look into that. So anyway, the way that I'm using, obviously, is by using an OAuth token that was generated at Twitch at like id.auth.twitch.tv, id. Anyway, whatever the address is. And I use Twitch Lib to just connect. So the Twitch bot itself keeps a connection to the Twitch client, and then the Twitch client performs the connection. I have two different ways myself to provide the credentials. One is on the server, I have user secrets. So here's what it looks like on the client. So this is the configuration. This is one of those things that I kind of integrated from another example. So I just overwrite this in my user secrets with the actual OAuth space. Here's my OAuth key. And then it stores that and it uses that as the default if no information is provided. Somewhere. I don't know where I did that. I think maybe that was just in the Twitch hub itself. Yeah, connect to Twitch and then connect to Twitch using credentials. So this is where it goes to my secrets and grabs the bot username, password, and channels. Dflex is saying, I know of another way. So you say Twitch lib? Oh, no. So I pronounce things like verchar, varchar, verchar, vercar, varchar. Doesn't matter. I pronounce things the way that I pronounce them. You pronounce them the way you pronounce them. You are not wrong. I am potentially not wrong either. I live in a non-dualistic world. Actually, I live in a dualistic world with non-dualistic ideals. How's that? Should make that into a GIF, says Deflux. No. A GIF. Thank you. At least a small part of my insanity is still intact. Whoops, I added a couple letters to that statement. So anyway, simple, straightforward, a GIF way to connect using the Twitch Live's Twitch client object. So you just get the Twitch client, and then you do dot connect using those. Create. Sorry, I guess it's not finished yet. So with the Twitch client, you need to provide connection credentials. And in this case, I am providing the bot name and then the OAuth token, but you can also provide something like the client ID and some other things in here, as well as a list of grants. And then for the client, I'm just subscribing to a whole bunch of events so that when we connect, once we get the connected, then we do a whole bunch of SignalR related things. So TwitchBot Hub .clients, everyone that's connected to my TwitchBot Hub will get the message sent back to them. The end. So then when I'm writing my bot logic, right now it's all in this file, but my bot logic pretty much says when I'm processing messages, first of all, make sure that it's me sending it because I'm the only one that wants to be able to test it at the moment. If it's not for me, don't do anything until I'm ready. But this will be gone eventually. If the message is empty, also do nothing. And is it on my channel? If it's not on my channel, like I'm connected to someone else's channel, then maybe my bot isn't going to act the same way. Nice. Dikasoft. Wrong kind of me. Me is either one line or automated realms. But yeah, if I'm sitting on someone else's channel and I'm doing something like collecting analytics, or like one thing that I would do on other people's channel is figure out how people talk on those channels, like how people type, so that I can maybe do some analyses on those, and then my bot would learn and be able to respond to things, things of this nature. But otherwise, if it starts with a command, glyph is what I'm going to call this. So if it starts with a bang, process it as a command. If it's from me and on my channel, and there's an @ symbol, or either my name or Automated Realms' account name is in the message, then I would want to do something else. Yeah, so if I wanted this to be a list of things, then I would do something like if command glyphs contains message 0, because at this point I know that there's at least one character in message. So I can have a custom set of command glyphs, and then each command glyph could do something differently. Like, let's say that we specifically wanted it to process all ampersand starting messages as text to speech or something, or yeah, I don't know what else. But we could customize that however we want. That's the whole point behind that. Or one of the things that I thought might be kind of cool, which I don't think Twitch allows you to do, is something like if we started with x colon space, you could write a function that will take a I would have to think about this, but maybe the message object, and you could tell it, when you do this, here's some automated realms specific syntax for doing a thing. And if it's well formed, then maybe we could have a way for you guys to be able to write functionality for this bot from chat by writing code. That it would save somehow. But again, dreams, thoughts. It's all brainstorming. No idea how to do that last one, but it would be cool. But let's take a look at, because I kept going, let's take a look at the bot that Tyron showed, which is right here, called Mix It Up Streaming Bot. It's community driven, open source, developed by streamers for streamers. Ooh, that makes me dizzy. I like it. Professional and easy to use interface. You can interface with a Stream Deck. His pick is at the bottom. Yeah, so you can listen for if things are paid for with bits, with channel points. One thing that I want to figure out how to do is I gave Automated Realms moderator access. That Tyrant dude looks hot, says Dugasoft. Just saying. I gave Automated Realms moderator access, and what I would love to do is every single message needs to be moderated by him first. So it'll get pushed to him as an on hold message, and then he'll be able to process stuff so that if there's things that I just want to interrupt, so he'll receive that moderator message, and instead of displaying like every single time you type bang, so this is one thing that I don't like. When you type bang command, it's a command. You're not actually wanting the command itself to print out to chat. You want the result of that command. So at least for some commands, it makes sense to do it that way, where it won't allow your command to go through, but it will give you the results of your command. Social media, charity services, kawaii. We have an auto delete option. Yeah, mine wouldn't even be an auto delete. It would be just auto deny post. So it doesn't even show up even once when it's like if it's offensive, at least determined by the bot as offensive, then it would be still not allowed to go through unless you know I overwrite it. So I missed a bunch of Zulius's chat. Zulius says, I made an app with Twitch Live 2 quite a while ago, actually. My problem was always that in stress testing with a number of big channels joined, like multiple big channels joined, it sounds like, it always runs into a Stack Overflow after some time. Not sure if it's due to my EF Core connection or something like that. Never managed to debug the problem since it takes quite some time to crash. That's crazy. At least it works for a long time. I wanted to make my bot be able to load and unload DLLs at runtime so I could modify functionality without having to restart the app. Unfortunately, Microsoft seems to have killed off the functionality. I'm not sure about that. I haven't done much with it, but like if lazy loading is allowed, it's possible that loading DLLs at runtime is allowed. I mean, I've done it with VBA, where only when you are using that particular DLL are you loading it. Something about app domains. Okay, so it's definitely possible that it's harder to do or just impossible now for app security or something. Uh, and then the rest of it was I looked into it at some point. One of the major .NET Framework versions, IRC. Then Tyron said, we originally wrote this for Mixer, but then it died. So we moved it to Twitch. That's cool. But yeah, there's a ton of functionality in this thing. So that's super cool. Just the fact that it's free, full-featured, community-driven, open source. Yeah, that's really, really awesome that you can do all of these amazing things. And it has a developer API in it as well. And there he is. It's Tyron. So very, very, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. When you leave an app alone for a while, even like 2 weeks, it's gonna be hard when I go back to the other app. I'm like, what even is this code? But you forget all about it. But yeah, so we're gonna get back to the financial management tracker, which we've been working on in our streams. We started this project 4 streams ago, 3 streams ago. And we started with designing the application, or at least brainstorming what the application is going to do. And we put the information in GitHub. So this is open source. The code will be forever available until the end of time on my GitHub, which is github.com/1111111. And it is the financial management. I will put my Automated Realms bot open source on here soon, but not yet. New logo as of maybe about 2 months ago, Deflux. Maybe a little bit more than 2 months ago. I can't really remember. But here's the financial management tracker. Here's our just brainstorming up front what we want it to do. Then I connected my mobile studio to whiteboard and just sketched out the project structure that I wanted to use. And so that's what this picture is. And then the next time we sketched out the database design, what tables we might want, and what objects or what columns we want in those tables and the relationships between them. And we coded all of those objects as database entities. Made some decisions during that. And if you missed any of those, the videos are available as VODs as well as on YouTube. And they're in a playlist called Project 01, I think. One. I have the link right there. I could have just clicked on that. Playlists. Yeah. So I have a playlist called, why are there only 2 videos in it? I have a playlist called P01 Blazor Project Financial Management, which I need to put the other videos in there. It's Lionel. Guys, it's Lionel. He's my dad. No, that's not what I meant to do. We'll start with you, see if you're in the playlist. You are in the playlist. Oh, because day 3 is not in the playlist, which it's supposed to be. There we go. Okay, now there are 3 videos in the playlist. Day 1, day 2, and day 3, and Daytona. And then today's video will be in there tomorrow, because I need to let it be exclusive on Twitch for 24 hours because of the whole affiliate thing. But anyway, those are going to be there. We're going to keep going through this. Our next step is going to be to seed the lookup table information. Question is, are they sorted in the right order? I don't know. I don't know, Dukasoft. You're going to hear this because he's loud. Playlists. Financial management. Yes. Yes, they are. I wonder if I should put this in the project, the actual playlist. Happens often for other YouTubers. I'm not a YouTuber. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not. But I am. I don't know what I am. I'm just a kid trying to have some fun. That's all. Okay, so I would like to have some data initially put into some of these tables, as well as configuring some of the fields. I am currently using Entity Framework as, I'm using Entity Framework as my ORM, as the object relation model thing. But that means that when we're ready to like allow people to use this, because again, this is like open source, it means that you can plug in whatever ORM or whatever DBMS you want to use. So right now I'm targeting SQL Server because it's the one I'm most familiar with. However, you could use MongoDB if you wanted to. You could use a NoSQL database. Anything that Entity Framework has a words escape me. Has an implementation. I can't think of the word. 25. Oh my goodness, my hair is feeling like a bug. Somebody help. I want it to be an actual bug. Ugh, I would hate that. Let's see. Yeah, that's really hard to determine what I want to use. But we're gonna have a data folder. Debugs when lion's hair. Thank you so much, Dukasoft. Oh my gosh, I feel better now. Okay, so I'm creating a separate class to do my seeding. I don't know that I want to call it seed. I don't know what to call this thing. So what I normally do is I put the seed in the context in the same file as the database context, but I kind of want to put it in a separate file. How about data helper? Why didn't you rename the symbol file? Public static void public seed this model builder. I know what I'm doing. Hush. Okay, so I just made an extension method on model builder to be able to see the database. That's all. What does a mummy C# project and a daddy C# project love each other very much? Is this a joke? Is this a? Are we waiting for a punchline? Is what supposed to be when? I confused you fucks. I put the model builder in the seed, and that's what happens when a mummy C# project and a daddy C# project love each other very much. So at the end of our onModel creating, which is where we're going to configure the columns and such, we are going to seed the database. So it says they find a solution to their feelings. That's what happens. They express themselves. Using a function expression. Okay, so the configurations that I want to do are on a lot of these string columns. If we were to scaffold the database right now, we would see that we would get for these and var char and var char, whatever you want to call it. You pronounce this for yourself in your head. It'll make this max. And we won't need max for all of them. And maybe they need to override their anger issues. That's why it's all virtual. They're all virtual properties. Mood is a virtual property that can be overridden. Mental state. Cognitive ability. Social status. Anyway, so I don't need all of my strings to be whatever I just said. And varchar max. Like, for example, the name of account could be something like, I don't know, 120 characters. That still may be a bit much for what you would name an account. You could do my banking account primary number 1 for trips is the name of that account, which sounds more like a description. Speaking of, do we want a description? We could have an optional description. That's something like, I use this for tracking all payments rendered to, I don't know. Like if you wanted to do this as a full accounting thing, then you would have each of your accounts would be like one color of money. So let's say that you have one checking account, but you have that partitioned up into, this is all of the money that I use for travel. This is all of the money that I use for food. But those would be more like budgets, wouldn't they? And that way you still have all of your money in the same account, but they're just flavored differently. but you would still be adding and subtracting from the overall amount. So yeah, maybe we can create that later on. So like if we're going to do budgeting and stuff, we can do that later. Because right now, but excuse me. But so we're going to leave it simple. I'm trying to keep it simple. I don't know why I tried to complicate it just then. So one thing that I know for sure is that account, we want to restrict the name to be a shorter field because we don't need nvarchar max and varchar max. So model builder dot dot identity account, and then I like to use the word entity for my options. You could just do, if you felt like it, you could just do one at a time, like dot property name has max length, and we said something like 120. Why not? So you can do them all separately like this, but if you're also going to have other things configured on them, like here, I would want to create my index as well. You can't just keep dotting off of it. So like the only thing that I think you can do is add the required to it, which it gets by default if you have nullability turned on. I think we'll have to test that out. But then I would need to do another one of these on name to add, or on the entity, sorry, has index name. So I would want my name of the account to be indexed as well. So the other way that you can do this is by using a function to describe your configurations. Like so. The other thing that we could do if we wanted to be 100% clear is do some explicit navigation properties. So we could say that one account has one account type with many accounts. But since we wrote everything in such a way that we have whatever that navigation property is, ID, when it's a one-to-many or one-to-one, then Entity Framework is going to know that we want a relationship between account type ID as the foreign key into the account type table that has an ID column from our lookup item base. So we don't need to configure all of our navigation properties and relationships and stuff. But account type, so all of our lookups, they're also going to have this same constraint on the name, because I don't need them to be 1,000,000 characters long. I think it's something like 2,000 or 4,000. I can't remember what max length is. So we're going to do it on those. Right, I called the actual property. There's going to be something that we need to discuss. Well, we're going to have a talk, you and I. These are probably going to be no more than 60 characters. Like, this would be something like a mortgage loan or checking slash debit or savings or credit card or stuff like that. And I'll actually put in some values when we seed this. So they're not going to be very long at all. Unlike company names that could be relatively long for your account. Like, I think we could even go up to 255 before this thing starts trying to split out the actual text field and make it harder to index on. But I think 120 characters is going to be good. 60, 80, 80. We'll do 80 just in case. So then another one is going to be our lookup category. And again, category is going to be something like entertainment or automotive expenses or recurring bills. I don't know. I don't know good category names. We'll come up with some good ones. I'm so bad at this part. I usually only use data annotations, says Dugasoft. I strongly prefer this. I don't know why. Data annotations are not bad. There have been arguments against using data annotations in the entities because they should be clean or something like that. But data annotations, for anyone that's not aware of what they are these attributes that you can put on top of properties where you can set stuff like max length, string length. And this would have the same effect here. And I don't see any problem with using this, Dugasoft. I just prefer using Fluent API. So you're definitely not doing anything bad. If you're afraid of being judged for that. I don't see anything wrong with it. I just like this. Putting them all in one place, essentially. Which does kind of make it a little bit harder when you're searching through them. But if you're using something like EF Core Power Tools, you could tell it to split out all of your, and I really want to learn how to do this, but split out all of your table configurations into separate files. But for me, this is just the entities. So they shouldn't know anything about the underlying database that they are associated with. So even though account does have an I collection of scheduled transactions, that does not necessarily mean that I'm going to be using a relational database underneath. This could just mean that when I pull account data from a NoSQL database, I will also get back the curly brace scheduled transactions. And maybe I won't be able to query for a transaction directly unless I'm using partitioning or whatever the other methods are called for getting back one individual transaction from a list of transactions. Sure, Dflex. Dflex says, obviously we know NoSQL is better and better superior people use NoSQL. I certainly don't. Because I think in terms of relational databases, it's just how my brain works. So here's our recurrence type. So again, this is going to be monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, once, weekly, monthly. Wait, once, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. Yeah, I wonder if we should consider, oh yeah, and then custom. Because I was like, I wonder if we should consider having something that is like every X years, every X months, every X days, on the 1st and the 15th of each month. Blah, 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 blah. Which is going to be pretty easy to do because using a combination of the previous recurrence types, we should be able to put together any possible any possible thing we want. So biweekly would really just be, not biweekly. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I can't think of it right now. So anyway, that's recurrence type. And then there was one more lookup, wasn't there? First bank day. Oh yeah, first of month, end of month. Like that's a fun one. I want this to recur on the last day of every month, or whatever it's called in English. Yeah, I think I can understand the concept of first bank day. I'm sure it's a thing somewhere here in America. I like how you said whatever it's called in English, though. Was that just directly translated? Because that looks like English to me. Pay, pay names. Same deal as accounts, where payee names, this could be the name of a store, this could be the name of a servicer. Well, what is the native word for you then? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, jeez. It's Danish. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it because I don't really know the sounds that the. I don't even know the name of the character. Actually, just what any of the characters sound like. Because, like, G's, don't they have a different sound as well? Or what I would call a G? First, bunk, dog. I tried. Oh, I quit. I failed. Schedule transaction doesn't have any special anythings. Transaction has a memo field. Transaction has a I don't I think that's right. Transactions, yeah, transaction should have a memo field. I don't know why we came up with description in the transaction detail. Maybe this was something like if you're picking service fee, what the actual fee is for, but to group things together as service fee is pretty close. That's cool. Was good enough to understand, or for the bank to understand. That's cool. Nifty. So yeah, I think transaction is supposed to have memo Memo which is nullable. Blech. But memo is going to be some freeform text that the user is allowed to input. So we want to give them a little bit more space, but memos are usually pretty short. They're not full-on descriptions. Apoc said naughty. I thought I heard something. It wasn't that loud. It wasn't loud enough. Hello, Apoc. Let me turn my sound alerts up just a little bit. Looking up from Lurk. I love Irish John's emotes. Oh, they're so good. Transaction detail. So this description field, what was I planning on using the description field for? You know what? We should probably, once we're done with this part, we should probably go ahead and go through all of the properties and describe them. Write some XML comments on them. We don't need to index the description column nor the memo column. I don't know. For those of you that use financial management systems, financial trackers, do you put memos on your transactions? So a memo is something like if I paid for rent, I would put the memo of rent month year kind of thing. And if you do use memos, do you ever have a desire to search by memo? Like I want to find all memos that are for rent because the payee in that case would be the rental company. Like if I'm going through some kind of property management agency or something, it'd be the property management person. If I'm going through an individual person, it'd be their name or their company name. But that's what category would be for. So this category would be rent. And memo just kind of gives me the details of what month rent was for, month and year. So I don't think so. I don't think we'd want to need to worry about wasting database space by indexing the memo field. You know what, though? I didn't hear when Eternal Wild Fox followed, so maybe I'm not actually hearing my sound. Output, off, output, off, output. Okay, can someone play a general alert or a free bits thingy? Inquiring minds want to know.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yes, I heard that. Thank you, Dukasoft. I said free. Okay, so I think that my sounds weren't playing.
It's over 9,000!
Yes. Thank you. That works. That works perfectly. Sometimes when they need pay year category isn't exactly what I need. Sometimes when the what? Sometimes the payee or category isn't exactly what you need. Like, would you ever search for like something that you would have written in your memo field? Essentially, that's the question. If you use memo, would you want to be able to search? Yes. That one is such a good one. Oh, hello ears. Goodbye ears. I never knew you. Oh man. Where were we? What's going on? What's happening? My brainular. It's starting to leak out of my ears. I rarely search by that note, so probably not. Yeah. So if it's a rare search, then I'm not going to worry about optimizing it, like by creating an index off of it, because then it's just extra space that's being taken up for something that's rarely used. Instead, if you're going to search by memo, it'll just take however long it normally takes for an entity framework query to search by that column. And of course, over time, the database will build up a history of what is searched. Yes, this is true. Oh, it's a calendar thing. Yes, yes, we know this. I accept. I accept. Yes, know this. Okay. Yeah, database would become too large. I mean, it's not going to get large as it is because this is kind of like for your own personal thing. But if you were like going to be someone that takes this as your base app and then builds a full-on financial management tracking system for other people, you're going to create Mint on your own, starting with this as a base, then that would be a consideration. But this is really just your own stuff. Maybe like 40 years worth of data could get big, but one person really isn't gonna one person isn't gonna be able to fill this up unless you have like a million billion microtransactions that you're tracking a day. That's what she said. Sure ain't gonna be big. It's more of what the heck is this? Oh, a feature. But yeah, I appreciate the input, Disco. I agree with you. It would just be a waste of space. Deflex is saying if you get a job at Google, it's going to be large. You're going to be cutting a large amount of checks. I don't really use paper checks. We have a checkbook, but we haven't had to write a check. Well, I guess I did write the check for the first half of the landscaping job. Okay, moving on. Transaction detail we got, and then transfer is just one transaction ID to another transaction ID, or two associated transaction IDs. Is essentially all that means. So let's just say that this is good enough for our indexing and column setup. So let's create the seeds for these. You were going to mention that? Yeah, I don't remember things very easily. This application is not for my age group. Wait, what? What even does that mean? This is for every age group. Oh, we don't know what checks are. All right. So here's my seed for. Yeah. Do I want to do it that way? So then, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of like warring thoughts in my head. I want to have a seed for all of my lookup tables because it's easy, but I would also like to seed, fake data eventually. With that said, I also want to split out my table configurations into their own files, which means that those files would also have the seed in them. But for now, let's just be easy. Let's just be laid back and easy. So to seed a database, in your database context, I recommend putting a separate method that will take in the model builder. You specify the entity name, which we're going to do magically. And so let's just start with our lookup account types. Then you do something like has data. And inside of here is where you put all of your seed data. So for me, the seed data is going to be my enum get values. Account lookup account types. Right, I can't do that. We're going to do the magic trick for the recurrence because that's the only one that we're having a hard-coded set of values. So this one we're just going to do as new lookup account types. And I think I do have to specify the type on here. I can't use the I don't know what this is called. But it says that it can't be used as the target of type new. And it also looks like this needs to be a new list of lookup account type. So then in here, I can do new with ID, name, sort order. Aha. Start at one. Oops. Probably need a name. And last updated. And so I'm going to do last updated as a hard-coded value. I've made the mistake before of doing datetime.utc now. But this means that every single time that I do a new migration, it will detect that an update has happened to the data. So it'll try to reseed and update those columns with the new datetime.utc now. So instead, I'm going to do a hard-coded date of today. Let's just do today. What time is it for me? 11:41, which means that UTC is 5:41. Hello Playboysy. Have I solved the problem that I had last time with Blazor WebView? I have not. But we did move on to a new project anyway. Another message. We will be adding Maui to this project when we're done, but this is just a regular Blazor project. It's actually both Blazor Server and Blazor WebAssembly side by side. But I do want to use the same UI and Blazor component library as a Maui project. I'm completely, for my work product, first of all, I'm not allowed to work on anything for a couple of weeks, but for my work product, I'm just skipping the title bar customization stuff. Disco is wondering, no daytime offset. So I've heard a lot of things about daytime offset. And one of them is there really isn't any way for your SQL database to know about datetime offset. So I'm just using UTC datetime for everything. And I'm committing to knowing that I'm storing all dates and times in my database as datetime.utc. Datetime offset doesn't, and I could be wrong about this, but datetime offset doesn't mean anything to SQL Server, I believe. So the thing that I've heard is a good alternative is just to make sure to store all of your date time as either server time or UTC, and I prefer using UTC. Because when we display the data, we can always do to local time from there. Okay, so I'm going to make some basic account types. This isn't going to be an exhaustive list because we'll want to be able to add some to the application using the maintenance tools. Haha! Hey, I was right. I actually did the conversion in my head. I can't believe it. That's going to get that message there is going to get better because I'm going to actually have my local date time available to me from the bot. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to turn all of my stream elements commands into my bot commands. That's going to be perfect. But yeah, definitely let me know if I'm thinking about datetime offset incorrectly if you know something more about it, because I'm not claiming to be anywhere near an expert on it. It's just stuff that I vaguely remember hearing, but I could be way off. Credit card. Cash. Okay, so those are the account types that I'm going to have in here for now. We'll add more from the app, such as mortgage or loan, or maybe escrow, or retirement savings, or whatever we want to put in here. Model entity, lookup category. Oh, this one's going to be fun. I said category the way that my dad says it. I love the way he says it. Semicolon. Cool. I don't understand why sometimes you can have a trailing comma, and sometimes you have to make sure to get rid of any trailing commas. Trailing comma, 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 chameleon. These are going to be, I'm just going to cheat and look at my lists. Actually, I don't have any categories in my current database, and I really want some. So we need to come up with some pretty cool category types. Oh. I was like, what's broken? What did I do wrong? All of it. Everything. Ever. So some good categories would be grocery, general goods, services, streaming. Or I guess this would be I guess streaming services, because it's a group of these things. So a category, I don't know. What's your answer to that? I'm asking you guys a lot of opinion stuff, and I am interested in knowing, what is your opinion on whether categories should be singular or plural? So when we're thinking about what a category is in this sense, is we have a transaction we have a payee, a thing that we are paying money to, or a thing that we're paying money to. It's also things that we're, oh no. This could also be things that we're getting money from. I think we're going to have to rename payee, because one of my payees is a regular paycheck. And I use that to say this account is receiving money from regular paycheck. But anyway, hello, I don't know if that's an I or an L. L, or maybe a 1. Anyway, Lasev. Hello, Lasev. It's an L. It doesn't help when you type it out still. It's L, not I. They still look the same to me. Anyway, yes, that works. Capital L. So Lasev said, I built a CLI that can serve static websites. That's really cool. Dukasoft is saying, it would be cool if it could read your schedule. My next stream will be at. I will copy this down. Yeah, so this the actual command processing is probably going to be fairly easy to implement and add new commands to. But I will put that down as a stream's ideas. Oh, sure. Yeah, that sounds cool. So Lasev is asking if we want to check it out because it is open source. That's not a browser window. Nice try, though. Cool. So the point of it, actually, what is the point of it? So you're saying it's a command line interface that can serve static sites. What do you mean by serve static sites? Like you can run your actual website from command line? Yes, that is exactly what it means. Cool. Yeah, so you can serve HTML, CSS, and JavaScript from your command line. Tukasoft. And then you're pretty much setting everything up within, well, it also looks like this is a file. Okay. So what it sounds like to me is an application, like a console app, that you can start up and it'll be listening and serving your pages from whatever port you say you want it to be at, and then whatever folder you want it to be in. Cool. Yeah, so when I hear the term of CLI that serves static sites, it kind of sounds like you have this CLI. No, it doesn't even sound like that. So what I pictured initially was you have a static website that you're able to open console and interact with things on your system, for example, which is kind of cool. But this also sounds like if you're going to go into your PowerShell or command. I just find the word serve to be cool. But you typed out exactly what it does. It's just a way for you to spin up a server application that is able to serve HTTP and respond to requests and stuff. Feel free to give it a watch. Absolutely. I have no problem doing that. And it's fast. The documentation there said it starts your server in under 10 milliseconds. Super cool stuff. Absolutely. But yeah, what you wrote is essentially a server that runs on command line. That's how my brain is interpreting it. Kind of like typing Kestrel. Yeah. Wish my Blazor wasm started in less than 10 seconds. You know what would be cool? No one answered me though. When you associate a category with a payee, for example, is that one category name singular? So like the payee King Supers is a grocery store versus a category of grocery stores. This category contains multiple grocery stores. Which kind of makes general goods not really make sense though. I don't like service by itself. Am I using a CDN regarding what? Just like in general? Oh. Oh, to Dugasoft. Yeah. Do you have CDN imports, or is it just your application in general? Sure, a lot of messages today. Yeah. He said probably not. It's just a default template. Yeah, it's like when you do file new and then you deploy that, it still takes a bit. I don't know that I'll be able to share that. What other categories? I need more categories. I got streaming service. I got grocery. I got general good. I got fast food, restaurant. So yeah, this is where my clustering, my grouping doesn't really make sense. Um, this is why I want to leave the categorization up to the user, where they can create their own set of categories, but I want to come up with a good set of original categories. Fast food and restaurant. In the context of financial tracking, does it really matter distinguishing between fast food and restaurants? And on top of that, oh my gosh, Brain, what are you doing? You're trying to make this overcomplicated. My brain only if the wife asks. My brain. Oh no. No, 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 no. Bad. Lookup category. My brain wants each line item type to have a category. No, not even that. My brain wants a transaction detail to have a category. Why? I'm asking my brain, but it's not answering. A transaction detail is one row in a transaction that has to do with what is in this total amount of money that I'm paying for this transaction. What is this one line item paying for? And so this would be something like if you are like fully itemizing a receipt and you're saying this one item here, so let's say it's milk, that's going to fall under grocery. But then the next line item, let's say that it's a raincoat from the same store, from the same transaction, then that would fall under general goods. But if we do it that way, then that means that we would need the ability to have a line item type be each product. So what that tells me is I could have a separate products table Where did I put my notes for this project? Separate products table, which would be still kind of a lookup. We're not going to do this now. This is just going to complicate it. So I'm going to leave it off for now. Do it as a future feature. And in that products table, we're also going to have a transaction detail product. Yeah, so this category really is something more like, well, no, because then each product will also be able to use the same category table when we do it that way. So imagine a product table that is like raincoat, umbrella, taco, whatever else you can think of. I stopped at taco because I'm hungry. Chinchilla for pets, not for food. Um, Mail order bride, whatever. Each of those would be a product, but a transaction detail would not have to be associated with a product. So we would have a separate table for product, which is just a list of any product type, and then a transaction detail product table to associate for this transaction detail ID. Here is the product ID. And then each product is associated with 0 or more categories. I would like to say 1 or more, but we all know that I'm lazy and I'm not going to put a category for every single product. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, maybe I do have one more. Oh, maybe one other. Apothecary. Did I spell that right? E. There's an E in there. Apothecary. Dugasov says, mail order bride. Can I search for the ones with the good-looking note? Yes. Subjectively. Okay, so those are categories. I'm sure taking a long time with this. Our next lookups are line item types. And so this is going to have things like subtotal. So what is that word? Tax. And then again, this is where the description field would come into play, where this tax could be local tax, it could be sales tax, it could be like the total sales tax, it could be the county tax, it could be state tax, whatever. Fee, which could be service fee, delivery fee, surcharge, VAT tax, if you go to the UK, for example. So this will let you pick any of those unless you want to specify in the app yourself a line item type of sales tax, local tax, VAT tax, whatever. We got surcharge. We got, oh, what was the other one that I was just thinking of? Shipping. Can we just remove the text feature? Yes. Tip. I'm cheating. Refund. Discount. I kind of like that one. Refundable deposit. That would be a fee. That would be a tax. Yeah, and then again, this line item here could be, for some people, the specific product, which wouldn't make sense, but it could be. Okay, you're good. I keep checking my messages as soon as I get them. First of all, because it's what I do. I have a compulsion to do that whenever I hear my phone say, hey, you have a message, I want to check it. But also because we have this weird thing going on at work. So I want to make sure that I am responding to any messages that I get regarding that. Okay, so line item type. And here's the fun one. I was so looking forward to this one. The lookup recurrence type, which is going to be an application-specific lookup list that comes from a hard-coded list of values, which is going to be our enum. That said, let's start simple, but there's a lot of information that we're going to want from this. So this is going to be enum, capital Enum, dot get values of recurrence type, which is our lookup, our actual enum list. So this gives me an IEnumerable of all of the possible values in recurrence type. And so what I want from this is to select a new lookup recurrence type. That has an ID of that recurrence type, which actually I want that to start at 1 because we, as SQL developers, we don't want our IDs in the database to be 0 because 0 is the default int value, and when you supply the default value through Entity Framework or when you're just doing an insert statement, you will get back auto ID. So the next incremented identity value. So we're just going to cast this to an int because you can go directly from an enum to an int, unless you specify I want my enum to be a long, in which case this would be a 1 long. And this would be a 2 long. Anyway, good to know. Good to know. Thanks for that. The name is going to be x.toString, but there's some more information that we want with this. We get the last updated in sort order. That's fine. So sort order is just going to be sort order plus plus. That'll still work inside of this loop, even though it's inside of a link expression. A predicate Last updated. So I don't know. The other thing that I kind of was wanting for this lookup list that I think I want for all of them. I don't want it for all of them. I just want it for this one. Is a display text. Display. It's always display. Display text. And this is the thing that's going to show up on the screen when you're trying to pick it from a drop-down list, for example, which is going to be not nullable. And I was thinking description, but they would be self-explanatory. T-Flex says, oh, we're working on it eventually. That's a long way away with the current state of things, though. Okay, so I want an easy way to get the display text using just my enum. My enum, I said. And so the easy way for me to do that is to create an attribute called recurrence type info, for example, with a, yeah, maybe, with a display, oh, I don't know, display text property. Oops. I'm coming up with this on the fly, by the way. So that's why it's not quite sticking. So we'll add this display text property to it. So now we have this attribute that we're going to say we want you to be only on, not flags, attribute usage field. You're going to be not nullable. And so all of these will need a display text. And we're going to have a public enum recurrence type extensions, not enum, static class. No idea what I'm doing. It's okay. I only act like I do. And this is going to be public static string get display text, and Copilot will do it all for me. It'll even cast everything to the recurrence type info. Attribute. Which I prefer using the generic. This is a thing, yeah? Or false. And this is, should I look at the children or anything that inherits this thing to find this display or this attribute? And we'll default it. Oh no. Dugasov says, looks like I have much to learn still. Perfect. I'm not going to get bored. So yeah, this is one thing that I'm kind of not liking about Copilot. There's a few things that I currently don't like about Copilot, but one, I'm getting really lazy and letting Copilot just do this. But the thing is, I am reviewing the code that Copilot generates, and cleaning it up. and implementing it the way that I would implement it, for example. Cool. And hello, Invincible Sec. I couldn't parse your name. Oh, my brain. My brain didn't do it. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to the Daily Code Fund. We are working on a project called the Financial Management Tracker, I think is what we ended up calling it. Copilot is not still beta only. It is full on available. It is a pay product that you can trial for 30 days for some amount of time. And the way that it works is the easiest way for you to get started with Copilot is just to go to Manage Extensions in Visual Studio. You can also use it for, I think, Visual Studio Code. I don't want to say that because I don't know that for sure. And you just search for Copilot, download it, and then it'll give you a message down here about not having a key or not being connected to your GitHub account. Click on it, connect to your GitHub account, and it'll start that whatever it's called. It'll start the trial period. Okay, so one time. Should one time be hyphenated? Should bi-weekly be hyphenated? Should bi-monthly be hyphenated? Bi-monthly? Quarterly? Semi-annually? So I've been putting, whoa, does that look weird? I've been making the next letter after the hyphen lowercase, so I'm gonna stay consistent with that. So custom ... because you're gonna have to set up options for that. Okay, so it looks fine. So now we have a way to get our display text, which means that as we're seeding our database for our display text property, we can do x.getDisplayText. And you can do this for any number of properties you want in your table. Let's say that you wanted to describe your entire object using an enum, so you never have to go to your database to get your list of whatever hard-coded lookups. You could put your entire record here if you wanted to. As essentially your actual object's properties inside of the attribute. But for us, we don't really need that, because we have all of our lookups inheriting from the same thing, so we're going to get all of our lookups the same way from the database. Sound good? Good. Moving on. Do we have any more things that we want to seed? Did I seed any accounts? I don't remember seeding any accounts. Yeah, we're going to start off with no accounts, no payees, no transactions. We can fake all of these things in a minute, which might not be a minute. It might be a little while longer than a minute. Was there anything else that I forgot to configure in the database context? Carrots. Carrots. I forgot carrots. Yes, I just added a property called display text to my lookup recurrence type. And so I don't want that to take up a bunch of space. That's probably going to be no more than 20 characters. I mean, we know what the longest value for that is because, again, we're hard coding it in our enum. So this is, don't you tell me how many characters I have selected? No, 13 characters though, or maybe 14. 4, 5, 10, 13, 14, 13, 13. I know how to count. Wait, I can't count. I've forgotten how to count. Wait, 13 characters is the longest, so 20 should be enough. Termisoil. Good day. Anyone know why my P-SQL server doesn't prompt me for a password ever after I sent one? Do you have save credentials turned on? And is it set up to allow Windows login? Because it's possible. What are you using to access your P-SQL server? I guess. And P-SQL. P-SQL doesn't compute in my head. I tried to pinpoint it. Postgre. PostgreSQL. I don't know enough about Postgres. Whatever it's pronounced. Okay, so I'll answer you, Dukasoft. We will address your question after we talk with Termisoil. Okay, so yeah, I'm not super familiar with the setup of Postgres. So I'm assuming that you're doing some command line related things, trying to log into Postgres. And my guess is that Postgres is allowing you to log into it because your domain account, the thing that you're logging into your computer with, has permissions for your database. And Termisoil says that's what I assume. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you that without doing Googling myself. Doing the internets. So Dukasoft was asking, or stating and asking, if the display text is in the database, why not save the enum as well? We are. We absolutely are. So if you remember, our recurrence type, we're specifying the key on it. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for asking, because I forgot that. We're specifying the type of key, and the type of the key is going to be recurrence type. The database is going to see that as an integer, but we're going to be able to say when we're pulling the actual database data and populating the recurrence type object. Oh no. I won't be able to go backwards. That's going to be an issue. The actual ID property of our lookup recurrence type is going to be the enum itself. So when we do ID, no, I'm going to have an issue. I'm going to have an issue. Okay. So did it at least make sense that my recurrence type table is essentially just my recurrence type enum as a database table? Did that part make sense? And so the reason that I'm doing this, I would do this for all of my lookups anyway. It's how I do lookups if they are hard-coded and specified by the application and not customizable. So because I have a hard-coded list of lookups, instead of needing to do a database call to get my recurrence type list, I will just use my enum in the application. Okay. Oh, Ultra Lord. Okay, so we are done seeding, and Dukasoft's question prompted me to remember that I needed to specify the type of key on this one that's using an enum as the ID. So thank you for that. Did someone say seed? Squawk. Yes, we did. So let's go ahead and create the migration for this. And to do that, I'm gonna set the migrations project as my startup project. I will be using the package manager console to create the migrations, but you could possibly prefer to use something like the .NET CLI, which would be something like .NET space EF space migrations space add. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the .NET CLI good enough for Entity Framework Core. In order for this to work, I need to add the database as a context, or add the database context to this project. .NET-EF space migration space add. I was this close. And then the name of the migration. I think you can build a C# enum dynamically at runtime, but that's super messy and error prone. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make sense because the whole point behind having an enum is while programming, I can just dot off of this object and then get the thing that I'm looking for. So we're going to have very special rules for the recurrence types that we're going to need to handle and being able to get them directly from C# instead of trying to say, if this magic string matches, if the value of this thing in the database matches this name, then follow this rule. And you'll see that. You'll definitely see it. So we need our database context added to our migration project. We do that by builder.services, but we're not going to be able to because, oh, we are. Who are you referencing that has Entity Framework Core? The database project. Duh. Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. Okay, and so the database context that we're going to add is the find_man context from there. And there are some settings that we need to set up, which are options.use SQL Server, default connection string. This is going to be builder.configuration.get connection string, default connection string, which is going to come from here. So let's add our connection strings. I'm starting to rush through this a little bit. Yeah, I love saying it that way. Because my time is just about up and I need to get back to studying. That is not going to be my connection string though. My server is going to be, for now, local DB, MS SQL, local DB. Database is going to be find_man. Trusted connection. We don't need to log in. We could just use the identity that the application is running as, which is going to be my admin stuff. So trusted connection is true. And multiple active result sets true, because we will allow there to be multiple open queries on the same database context. I believe that's what that means. And so now we have our default connection. So there's that. But the other thing is that because our database contexts exist in a different namespace, in a different project, we're going to also need to tell this thing to come over to our assembly. Our assembly. Database. So that we don't get any weird issues. Okay, so now we should be able to, oh, we still won't be able to. I want to show you this error that happens. In the Package Manager console, if you don't have it, you can just go into Tools, NuGet Package Manager console. You can do Add Migration, call it whatever you want. Oh, you don't need quotation marks. I'm calling it Initial Create. And it's going to say, I don't know what you mean by that. Add migration is not a recognized name. That's because we need the tools included in this project to be able to use the command line in this way, or the NuGet Package Manager. So let's add Entity Framework Core .tools. And if I'm right, we still need one more thing, which is how are we going to be able to generate these migration files at design time? But we don't need anything else. I thought we would need to add the .design package as well. We are getting errors. Not implicitly convert to int? Oh, duh, because this is, yeah, okay. Because we put a type on here, this ID is a recurrence type item. My bad. And hello, Xcoding. I'm just trying to finish this up because I am out of time and I just want to get this done quickly. And then I'll try to catch up on chat before I go. But if there are too many chats, I won't be able to catch up. All right, and there we go. We have a successful build, and we have our database migration created. And these set of instructions are the things that say, here's how you create each of the tables that we have described. Ah, dang it. I'm not going to commit this to my database yet. Because I do have one more thing to discuss with you, and we'll do it tomorrow. But it has to do with the pluralization of table names in SQL Server. Yeah. But anyway, this gives us all of the instructions for creating the tables, any foreign keys, any indexes, any other rules and constraints that we put on columns, on tables. That all belongs here, or is generated here, including our seed data. And notice that the seed data is with the migration. It's not with the entire database itself. We could have put it in this new folder that was created. I don't really remember where, but there is somewhere that you could put the seed event so that it happens every single time your database a migration occurs, which we don't want. We only want it to update or delete or create new records if we add stuff to our database context. Oof. Okay. But yes, we will talk next time about, and that's why I hard-coded the date. Cool. But yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. For now, I am going to end my day here. Thank you to everyone that showed up. Once again, I'm going to go through chat to see if there's anything I can respond to real quick, but I need to get back to work. And continue studying and such. Okay. Thank you, Zoltralore. Thank you, Zulius. Thank you, Dugasoft. Thank you, Axe Coding, for being here. Thank you, Termisoil. Argration? Thank you, Deflux. Zulius said to Dugasoft, what would you not do? Super messy and error-prone code? Why, that's basically all my code. That's terrible. Be nice to yourself, Zulius. You've got some good code. Dugasoft says, I would do all my messy code is private. The end. Check out this. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's everything. Hello, Science Streams. I am leaving for now. Okay, so thank you all for being here. Yeah, I haven't really seen your code, but still, you should be nice to yourself. I'm sure it's not that bad. You're an amazing person. Join me again tomorrow. I'll be 50. No, I won't. I'll be at the normal time tomorrow. There is no one. Yes, there is. I don't have a raid message yet. I kind of don't want to raid because I just want to run. Because I haven't been lurking too much on other people's streams today because I have a lot of other videos going on with training and tutorialing. So I am just going to end there. No raid from me today. I apologize for any inconvenience it may cause you. Okay. Ciao for now. Shalom. Bye. Cheers.